Hey everybody, it's Mike. I'm back to do another video here. It's Sunday, we're smack dab in the middle of vinyl tag season and it's chilly outside, and I thought I'd come into the warmth and create a vinyl tag video. I did one last week for Rob Walker's Let the Music Play. I did his vinyl tag last week, followed all the instructions, showed quite a few records from my collection. And I've been sitting around this week and I thought I could probably do a vinyl tag, like his same vinyl tag video, but I could do it just with new wave records, or I could do it just with punk records. So I thought I might do that to, just something fun to do to go into kind of more depth, more deeper cuts into either my new wave collection or my punk collection. And then it occurred to me while I was pulling records out and stuff, it's like I could actually do this for just one band. And I thought that would be fun because I have quite an extensive collection of records and CDs and whatnot for the band Stereolab, and they're my favorite band, as I've alluded to many times, probably too many. And so I thought I'd do that today. And I know this is very niche, however many Stereolab fans that are out there on the VC that like to watch videos about Stereolab. I don't know, maybe there's just one of us or two of us, but this really isn't about that. It's not about expanding my horizons into jazz or folk or blues or whatever. This is just about me looking at my favorite band and kind of giving a little peek into my collection. I'm not going to show everything that I have today. I'm going to do a video sometime in the near future going through my entire Stereolab collection, but today is just going to kind of be a peek. And by doing this, just showing a little peek into my collection, I'm going to use the Rob Walker format, vinyl tag format for this. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of bend some things a little bit. I have to fudge a little bit on some of these, but I think it'll be fun. At least for me, it's going to be fun. So thank you all for watching, and here we go. So the first question, fave release in 2022. Well, Stereolab actually released something this past year, even though they've kind of been on hiatus for a while. They got back together after about 10 years of being on hiatus, and they put out a bunch of reissues, and they went on tour in 2019, and they started putting out these what they call Switched On, which is a compilation of rarities and B-sides and things that are just kind of hard to get, and they released them on vinyl and CD. This past year they released the 5th volume of that, and that's what I'm showing here. I've showed this in one of my other videos. This is the blue mirror board edition. There's also a yellow cover, which is the first one that I got, and I ordered it through their Bandcamp, and when I received it, it had a huge, like 3-inch seam split across the top, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay full price for a record and have just major damage. So I ended up selling that one and getting credit at my local record store. And I ordered this one from another local record store, Zia Records, and it came in like in a couple of days, and it's got the blue mirror board, which I prefer anyway. So I'm happy to have this. This is a collection of various, I don't know, it's got like their work with Nurse with Wound on here, which takes up sides A and side B of this 3-record set. They include like a lot of outtakes from the Chemical Chords album are on here. Like, I think there's 4 of them on here that are really good. Actually, the songs are as good as anything on the actual record. The original version of Plastic Mile, which is one of my all-time favorite songs of theirs, and they add a little bit of another song onto the end of Plastic Mile, and it's just a crazy little arrangement that they did, and it's really fun to listen to. Just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, this is really cool. This came out this past year, 2022. Stereolab. It's called Pulse of the Early Brain, Switched On Volume 5. So there's number 1 for Rob. Number 2, the last band I saw live. Well, it wasn't Stereolab, but I did see Stereolab in 2019 when they came through Phoenix. They played at the Crescent Ballroom, and I and my best friend went to see them. Stood right up in front, right up against the stage, and got to meet Tim Gain after the show, and got a selfie with him. And it was just a fantastic show. And it was just a bunch of random songs that they played. It wasn't like they were supporting an album or anything. So they were just out supporting their reissues and whatnot. And it was right before the pandemic. It was like October. It was actually my brother's birthday, October 10th in 2019. Anyway, so that's the last time I saw Stereolab live. I've seen them a bunch of times, but that was the last time I saw them live. Their first album was their best? No, it wasn't. So I'd say false to that question. This is their first album, Pang. It's great. I really love this as far as their early work goes. It's wonderful, but I don't believe it in their entire catalog. I don't think it's their best, but it's really, really, really good. So their first album was not their best, but still damn good. Hat Trick. Now this is fun. I am going to show, so the hat trick question from Rob's vinyl tag is show a record, a CD, and a cassette. I've lost my cassettes long, long ago, and I don't think I ever owned a Stereolab cassette. But I do have, this is an album called Fab 4 Suture. This is a 10-inch, it's a double 10-inch record. And what this is a compilation of 6 singles. They released 6 7-inch singles. Half of them they released in 2005, and half of them they released in early 2006. And then once the 6 7-inches were released, they released this and kind of compiling all the songs. So 12 songs compiled onto this double 10-inch record, Fab 4 Suture. Some of their best work is on this album. I love this. So that's the one. It's a 10-inch double vinyl release. And then I have all of the 7 inches, all 6 of the 7 inches. So that's another format, I would say, counts. Let's see, so there's 6 of these, a song on each side, so that's 12 songs. That's another format that I have that in. I have the tour single. I went and saw them in concert for that album. I saw them in Carborough, North Carolina, which is right there at the University of North Carolina Tar Heel campus. And Cat's Cradle is the name of the club, and that's a very famous club. I'm sure you probably maybe have heard of the Cat's Cradle, but that's where I saw Stereolab for that tour. And this was a tour single, 7-inch single that they were selling there at the merch table. Jump Drive, Shutout, and Solar Throwaway, really good songs too, that they recorded, I guess, at the same time as the Fab 4 Suture material. I have it on CD right there, Fab 4 Suture. I even have a jigsaw puzzle, so that's pretty wild. So I got the jigsaw puzzle that I got at the merch table. Never opened it, it's still sealed. So anyway, that's my hat trick. It's actually 4 instead of 3. Anyway, next album. Album starts and ends with the same letter. Well, none of their albums do that. And I only have so many albums to choose from because they only put out so much records. But I do have this is a tour single for when I saw them for the Chemical Chords tour, 7-inch single, and I think it has 3 songs on it or 2. I don't remember. I'm not going to open it up right now. But anyway, one of these songs on this is the CD that I bought at the concert, and I found the 7-inch single later, years later. But the song is called Exploisant Fix, French word. It's taken from a writing by Andre Breton, and it's got an E at the beginning of the word, and fix has an E at the end of it. But anyway, fantastic song, really good. Stereolab is one of those bands that just puts out really, really good bonus material. Like so many songs that they release outside of their album, their normal recordings are really, really good songs, and this is definitely an example of that. These are also included on that Pulse of the Early Brain compilation that I showed you earlier. I believe they're on that one. They're either on that one or the one that came right before it. I'll find out in a second because I'm going to be showing the other one in just a minute. But anywho, that's a song that begins with the letter E and ends with the letter E. Next one. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this Stereolab. It was so uncanny. Let's see, born the same year as you. I'm like, what are the chances that a member of Stereolab was born the same year as me? And sure enough, Letitia, the singer, this is her first solo album, and it's the only thing I have that actually shows like a picture of somebody from the band. But this is her. She's a singer. She plays guitar, she plays trombone, she plays keyboards. But everybody who listens to Stereolab, that voice, they know it immediately. She's such a distinctive voice. She's so freaking wonderful. Letitia Sadier was born in 1968, as was I. She's a few months older than me. But anyway, I just thought that that was just awesome that that lined up, because I thought I was going to have to fudge that question. And I didn't have to. So happy birthday to Letitia's turning 55 this year. And so am I. Next one, let's see. Most listened to album in 2022. As far as Stereolab goes, the most listened to is definitely this album. It's really an awesome album. Margarine Melody, 2000 and when did this come out? 2008? I think so. I've got my computer up right here. Why don't I just scroll through and look? 2004. Saw them on this tour too, and I have a tour single, but it's off camera there. But anyway, I listen to this album all the time. It's fantastic. I'll read off the list of the songs. Vulnerable Declosion. I wasn't really crazy about that song at first, but when I went to see them live the last time, 2019, they had done the reissues, and the reissued version of Vulnerable Declosion has like extra, they added on some extra minutes to the song, or at least seconds, I don't know, a minute maybe. And it really like just added such a nice little extra to the song, and I ended up just really getting into the song afterwards. Need to Be, Sudden Stars, Le Demure. Is that right? Yeah, I'm gonna butcher all the French stuff. The Man with 100 Cells, Margarine Melody, all of those are great. This is an original that I have of this record, one of the very few original Stereolab. Because back when I was buying Stereolab stuff, I was buying it all on CD, because it was like, you know, all throughout the 90s mostly, and early 2000s. And vinyl just was not happening back then. So I was buying CDs and starting to get the vinyl into my collection. Got quite a few, actually. Next one. Let's see. Most listened to artist. Is that? I mean, it's Stereolab, obviously. I'm doing a video on Stereolab. The most listened to artist among Stereolabs is, of course, Stereolab. Let's see. Australian in the band. An Australian band is the next question. And of course, they're not Australian. They hail from England, and Letitia comes from France. But luckily enough, and I got to pull it up here on my daughter's iPad. 1 second here. I like to have visual references, but anyway. Here's a picture of the band. That's Letitia. That's Tim Gain, the guitarist, and these are the two main people that have been with the band since the very beginning, that make all the music happen. And this lovely woman right here in the middle, that's Mary Hansen, redhead, awesome backup vocalist, just the most syrupy, sweet, beautiful voice. Backup vocals, she plays guitar as well, and she probably played keyboards too, since everybody in the band seems to be able to play keyboards. But anyway, she was born in Australia. So there's my Australian reference right there, Mary Hansen. Integral part of the band throughout most of their existence. Next one, surprising purchase. Really for me, I guess I had this out because I was going to show this and say Stereolab is my most listened to artist, but you know, that's Sound Dust. That's one of their albums, Sound Dust. Oh, actually, no, that's why I was showing these, is because these are my two most listened to albums. I wasn't going to just show one. Sound Dust as well. This came out in 2001, and this came out in 2004. These are my two favorite Stereolab albums. So Sound Dust and Margarine Melody. I'm like completely losing. Margarine Eclipse. There's another song that has melody in it. Anywho, next one before I lose my mind. Let's see. Surprising purchase. Well, I've told this story before, but back in 1992, I was in college, and I would go every Tuesday to my local record store. There was a few of them, indie record stores right there off campus. And I would check the new release bin to see what came out, because this is back before the age of the internet, and everybody was not able to go and look up things and look at YouTube and all that stuff to see what's coming out. So I would just go browse through the bins, and this one showed up one Tuesday morning, and I thought, oh, that's a weird looking cover, and it's this kind of day glow green, and it's this Switched On Stereolab, and I wasn't sure if Switched On was the name of the band or the name of the album because of the order they were in. I wasn't sure. I read the back and saw that it had not one but two female vocals, and at the time I was heavily into My Bloody Valentine and Loveless. I was listening to that almost nonstop, and really into that frame of mind as far as music goes, shoegaze and stuff. And I thought, well, I don't know, I'll give this a try. I didn't know anything about the Too Pure label or Slumberland or anything, and I just wanted to give it a shot. So I bought it on CD. Actually, this is a reissue on vinyl. I bought the CD and I was hooked. Absolutely loved it from the very first song, Super Electric, and on. Doubt, the second song, was like my immediate favorite Stereolab song as soon as I bought this. It really kind of had a droney, almost sometimes a shoegazy kind of feel to it, but it was different. It had this bubbly vocals, and it was just so kind of positive, but yet kind of droney and loud. And I don't know, I just really loved it. It was so strange and different, and their use of these kind of antiquated synthesizers and keyboards and stuff, and all these noises and bubbly kind of noises and stuff. It was just weirdness and great. And this was my big surprise purchase, was back in 1992 when I first purchased this on the day it was released in the US. Switched On by Stereolab. So the band is Stereolab, the album is Switched On. I did not know that at the beginning. I wasn't sure. Next one, let's see, surprise. Bands that you're complete on. Stereolab. I'm not a complete as much as I'd want to be. I have all their studio albums. I have all their compilations. I have a lot of their 12-inch EPs and their 10-inch EPs and their 10-inch singles and their 7-inch singles, and CDs coming out my ears. I think I'm right at about 100 pieces of physical media for Stereolab, just about ready to go over the 100 mark. So quite a few. So definitely my largest collection in my music collection. Next one, a great run of 3 albums. Well, that's really easy for Stereolab. I'll start with 1994's Mars Audiac Quintet. This is the first tour that I saw them on. I was living in Louisville at the time, and I knew a couple of people that worked at Ear Ecstasy Records, which was a local indie record store, and we all carpooled together and drove up to Chicago and saw them at the Metro, and it was an awesome show. I forget who opened for them, but anyway, it was a fantastic show. Got to see them really early on, and pretty much saw them almost every single time they toured since then. So this is the first Mars Audiac Quintet. And then the next album that they released, Emperor Tomato Ketchup. This was 95, I believe. And fantastic album as well. Percolator is one of my all-time favorites, and it's one song that they play live like all the time. Motorola Scalatron is one of my favorites as well. I love that song. The Noise of Carpet, Sparkplug. There's fantastic songs on this. This is when they're kind of getting out of the kind of krautrock and they're starting to move into the more electronic kind of sound. Love it. Emperor Tomato Ketchup. That's the second one in my run. The third one in the run is Dots and Loops. I'm sure a lot of people that know Stereolab know this album. There's a channel that's called Dots and Loops on the VC. 1997, saw them on this tour here in Tempe, Arizona. They played at Gibson's, and it was a fantastic show. The High Llamas opened up and the leader of the High Llamas, Sean O'Hagan, he used to be an acting member of Stereolab, and then he went off to do his High Llama stuff, and he's been doing that ever since. But he does show up on a few albums in the future as a guest musician. So got to see them with the High Llamas. That was pretty awesome. And at one point I was standing there in the audience watching the High Llamas perform, and I looked over to the right of me, and there was Tim Gaines standing right next to me. I didn't bug him. I'm not one of those people that like to bug celebrity type people. I just kind of thought it was cool that he was sitting right there. Anywho, that's the third one in the run, and I'm going to keep going because their albums, they don't die off. Cobra and Phases play... Cobra and Phases group play Voltage in the Milky Night, and the title of my YouTube channel is kind of a transformation of this into I've crammed vinyl into there. But anyway, again, one of my favorite albums of theirs. It's got my favorite song, "Come and Play in the Milky Night" is my favorite Stereolab song, and that's on here. The Radiac Permutation, I don't know, there's just People Do It All the Time. Let's see, where's the other one? Infinity Girl. Just a bunch of amazing songs on this. They delve a lot into a little bit of a jazz influence on some of these songs, and sometimes it's loungy, sometimes it's jazz, sometimes it's krautrock, sometimes they're like 60s pop. They do all kinds of sounds and influences on their records, and this is no exception. This album is like all over the place. It's really kind of a quirky. It's not one of the easiest listening for them. It's got a lot of like really drawn out, like really long, strange songs, but it's wonderful. I mean, Stereolab fans, they tend to love this one because it's just really out there. So anyway, that's the fourth one in the run. And then the fifth one, Sound Dust, 2001. This is the, I saw them on this tour in Los Angeles. They played at the Hollywood something or other. I don't think the building is even there anymore. It's right across the street from Capitol Records, right there at Hollywood and Vine. Awesome to see them for that show. They weren't playing in Phoenix, so I had to drive out to California to see them. But anyway, this album, Space Moth, Captain Easy Chord, Baby Lulu, Double Rocker, Gus the Minor Bird, they were playing that on the most recent tour that they did. And then Suggestion Diabolique and Les Bonbons des Raisons. Like I said, I butchered the French stuff, but love all those songs. So many songs in this album that I absolutely love. So no surprise that it's one of my favorites of theirs. And then the sixth album in that run, I'll stop here, is The Margarine Eclipse. Again, one of my favorite of theirs, and I already talked about some of the songs that I liked, I think. So anyway, run of 3 albums, but there were 6 that were just all top notch. I wouldn't leave any one of those records out. Next one, let's see, 80s soundtrack. Well, they weren't around in the 80s, but they were on the soundtrack. So there is a song off of, this is a 10-inch EP that they put out. What is it called? The Amorphous Body Study Center. Music for the Amorphous Body Study Center, anyway. It's hard to keep track of their really long titles. This is a 10-inch EP, and there's a song on here called How to Play Your Internal Organs Overnight. That song was featured in the Kids in the Hall Brain Candy movie, and goes to show you how long this goes back. This is a VHS, a version of the movie. So yeah, I've been listening to Stereolab for a very long time. Yeah, so I forget which scene it was. I think it was like a love connection or something, and that music is just so like bubbly sweet and cute, and I think that's why they used that song. Next one, we lost them in 2022. Well, Mary Hansen, the Aussie member of the band, sadly, tragically, horribly, back in 2002, right after the Sound Dust album and tour, because I saw her on that tour, in 2002, she was riding her bike in London and was hit by a truck and was killed. So that's just awful, awful, awful. She was such a huge part of the band, and the band kind of went on hiatus for a little bit before they did their next album. And their next album that they did, where is it? Why is it not on top? It is on top. This Margarine Eclipse. Well, Margarine. The reference there, Marge was her nickname, was Mary's nickname, and this album is essentially dedicated to her, all the songs and everything. So, yeah, Mary Hansen, Lost in 2002. Disappointing purchase. When I first bought, I already mentioned when I first bought that Pulse of the Early Brain, it had that huge seam split, so that was disappointing, obviously, and got rid of that one. Let's see, a non-vinyl purchase. Well, this is, I don't know if you can see this t-shirt here. It's a Stereolab t-shirt that I bought the last time I saw them when they were here in 2019. So that's a non-album purchase or non-vinyl purchase. You found a Grail. Well, I didn't find it, but this is the Switched On Volume 4. It's called Electronically Possessed. It's also on the mirror board here. Back then, you could go to their site and order online and get like something that's really rare. Now they do it in a lottery system. So this last one, the Pulse of the Early Brain, was a lottery, and I didn't win the lottery, so I didn't get one of the rare ones. But this one, Volume 4, I was able to get the rare one. There were only 250 of these made. It's got the mirror board on it. It's, again, another compilation of a bunch of tour singles and so on. It's got the Solar Throwaway, and it's got the tour single that I showed you from Fab Four Suture. It's got what is that? That's the entire. Oh, it's got, I don't know if you can see up here, this one up here, the first of the Microbe Hunters. It's got that entire EP is on here, and then a bunch of other outtakes and whatnot. But the real thing that everybody wanted was the vinyl. This is what differentiated this from just the regular mirror board that you could buy in the record stores. Was the vinyl came in this kind of black with kind of an orange, random orange splatter in the center, and it's a 3-record set. So there, it's numbered. I don't remember which number I got. It's on the outer sleeve somewhere, but anyway, 250 of those. So I consider that a Grail. That's pretty awesome. And I'm good. I don't care if I really get that really rare stuff. If I happen upon it, great, but I'm not going to go spend hundreds of dollars to get a copy. Let's see, space themed. So there's a song on the Mars Audiac Quintet, and it's called International Coloring Contest. It's about a woman named Lucia Pamela. She's an American musician, a nightclub singer, and she did an album, and it was all kind of outer space themed. And so when you listen to the song, they're singing about her and about outer space and the moon and all this stuff. So anyway, it's a space age themed song, and it's called International Coloring Contest. It's absolutely one of the best songs on this album. So anyway, there's my space themed. Although with Stereolab, like, so much of their music sounds space age, so really just their whole catalog, you could just say that that's space themed. But I picked a particular song. VCLT or a present. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, I gave myself a present, and it's this Chemical Chords album. It's released on 4AD Records. It's very rare, hard to get, not cheap. It's one of the more expensive records that I've purchased, and I don't normally do that. I'm always trying to find a way to buy things as cheaply as possible, but this one I just had to have in my collection, so I'm really happy. A nice, clean, beautiful copy of this Chemical Chords. This was their last, well, it was kind of their last official studio album. They did release Not Music, which is right here, and this is kind of more studio outtakes of stuff that they did during the Chemical Chords session, so it's kind of a double album release or whatever, but the Chemical Chords, I think, is superior music to the Not Music stuff over there. But anyway, not to knock it, because it's still really good. Anyway, so that was my last Stereolab present to myself, was Chemical Chords. And then the last one, show an album from 1973. Well, obviously Stereolab wasn't around until 1991, 1992, so they kind of missed the boat on that one. But they put out some reissues in the year 2013, and the label that well, it was like on Elektra, but they also were distributed, I guess, by this this label called 1972, and that's the closest I'm going to get to a 1973 reference for Stereolab. So, any hoot. I think that's it. That's all my Stereolab stuff I'm going to show for this Rob Walker vinyl tag for 2023. Hope you all having a great new year so far. And eventually I'll do like a Stereolab thing where I show like literally every single little 7-inch and whatever collectible, whatever that I have. But for right now, and here's a few things that I didn't really talk about on the video, and I've got more of those as well that I'm just don't have room to show or time to show. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Hopefully you all will check out Stereolab. If you're going to start with a Stereolab album, I would highly recommend starting with this one. I think Mars Zodiac Quintet from 1994, I think is a fantastic place to start for them, and then just branch out whichever direction you want to go in after that. This is their third studio album, so you can go backwards and go to their earlier stuff, or you can go forward into their really complex, really spaced out kind of stuff that they did after this. So, or just hang out with this one for a while and enjoy it, because it's a fantastic album. Pretty easy to get too. The reissues that came out in 2019, they're 3-disc sets, and they come with a whole bunch of B-sides and outtakes, studio outtakes, demos, all kinds of stuff. So get your hands on one of those and start there, and then just check them out. And if you have any questions or whatever, let me know. Leave comments what you think about Stereolab, if you've heard them before, if you haven't heard them before. Just talk to me about it, because I love to talk about Stereolab. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.